Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Home Studio Simplified show. Today we're doing a huge, and I do mean huge, listen together. This is going to be over the both December and January song contest. So as we're listening, normally during this time, I have a section where I'll sort of read off what people have submitted about the songs. And then we listen to the song together, and well, you all know the drill. So this time, in order to expedite the process, I won't be reading what you wrote in the section about the song. We're just going to listen to the song and then give some honest and hopefully constructive criticism / feedback. I don't like to call it criticism, really. So if you wrote something that's very heartfelt, I do sincerely apologize. But in order to make sure that I give people the best value, I want to make sure that I minimize the time that's spent on what the song is about and maximize the time on how we can improve the song, if that makes sense. So hopefully it does. By way of the chat, let me know as we're listening to these as well, if you can hear them, obviously, and about the levels. I'm always kind of concerned about the levels as to whether they're too loud or not loud enough. If I'm too loud, not loud enough. So help me to help you by actually letting me know whether or not the audio levels are proper. I'm sorry, I'm doing some last minute setups here. Making sure that I got the chat visible. There we go. Okay, 𝗧𝗵𝗲 says, that's fair, no problem, good deal. Yes, I am on coffee. Awesome. Okay, so let's go ahead, and before we get into that, of course, if you're new here, this channel exists to simplify the complexities of the home studio and to help you make professional sounding music in a less than professional space. With that being said, the motto around here is that we can dream alone, we can even create alone, but together we can achieve so much more. And as we move forward into 2023, we're going to see more and more of that. So stay tuned. That's going to be, we got some cool stuff coming up. So because of that, it's because of these awesome people right here that we have anything going on. And that is the wonderful VIP members, our Patreon supporters, and our YouTube membership supporters. So thank you guys so much for all of your awesomeness. I don't know really a better way to put it. You guys just rock. And with that being said, if you want to support the channel for everything that we're doing here, it would be, I would really greatly appreciate it. There's many ways that you can do that in the description of the video here today. Or if you want to support in a super chat, that's absolutely fine as well. There's all kinds of ways that you can do that as well. And then, of course, obviously, you can also support through Patreon if you don't want all that comes with the VIP membership. Now, with that VIP membership, though, it's constantly growing, getting better, and I'm always asking you guys for improvements. So with that being said, if there's anything that you see within the VIP membership, if you're a VIP member and you're like, hey, I'd like to see this added, or this isn't working properly, or I'm not seeing enough of this, let me know. Email me. Let me know. I need to know this stuff so I can make your experiences better. All right, let's give a huge shout out to our ongoing sponsor. And with that, there is a link in the description of this video that if you go to the ProMix Academy and you use that link, any course that you buy there, I will receive a small amount of commission for you buying that course. So there's tons of awesome courses over there. If you want to buy one, please use the link that's in the description, and it's under the title. Click here if you dare. And of course, we can get that in the chat as well too. Let me make absolutely sure that is correct. No, it's actually mixed training by industry industry professionals. And yes, the link is click here if you dare. So yeah, that's how you can get into there. And so let's give them their sponsored slot here. Boom. Today's video is sponsored in part by the 𝗏𝗵𝗲 Academy. The 𝗏𝗵𝗲 Academy offers affordable courses from mentors, world-class engineers, Grammy winners, and multi-platinum selling producers. And with the resources available on the 𝗏𝗏𝗲 Academy, you can learn how to create radio-ready mixes from the comfort of your own home studio. Most of the courses also offer multi-tracks that you can then add to your portfolio and begin to build out your business. Follow the link in the description of this video to head on over to the 𝗏𝗵𝗲 Academy today and start learning the skills that are needed to take your hobby or your business to the next level. All right, ladies and gentlemen, guess what? I'm not wearing black today. This is not some kind of a fashion statement. It just simply means that as soon as this live stream is over, I'm hopping in the car to head to church, and everyone knows you don't wear a white dress shirt with a black shirt underneath it. Just doesn't look good. But with that being said, we are going to go ahead and hop into the submissions, and we have 16 of them today. By the way, if my camera freezes, I apologize. I just upgraded my motherboard, and for whatever reason, stuff's been happening. Weird stuff has been happening. And we'll try. Thank you, 𝗧𝗵𝗲. Yeah, you noticed the new shades here. Yeah, those are because I'm old and getting older. With that being said, let's go ahead and hop on to the first song. And the first song we're going to be listening to is called Not the Only One by Ernst and Whitman. And the end of it says MP3 reduced Rick. We don't know sometimes what these things mean. So, but let's go ahead and give this a listen. Now, I do have a one mastering processor on the master bus, and that's basically just making sure that nothing clips. I'm going to turn analog down, bass down. Everything is turned off. It's just basically making sure that nothing clips. And if I have to raise the level of a song because it's not been mastered, which is totally fine, I can do that here without really affecting how it sounds. Cool? All right, let's check it. Beautiful right off the bat.
Don't you cry no more. You're not the only one praying tonight, worried about things, something ain't right. Not the only one losing your mind, looking for hope in troubled times. You're not the only one. Hell no, you're not. Standing in line, take a kill shot. Not the only one. Turned inside out, being told lies by jokers and clowns. Are we losing you, beautiful lady? Don't you cry much about baby. Are we losing you? Pride taken away.
Not the only one.
You're not the only one.
Not the only one.
Please understand, not the only one.
Very, very good. So as far as some things that I heard that could really take this to the next level, it did sound as if maybe there was just a little bit too much reverb. When the song first started out, it sounded really good. And you know, if this is what you're going for, because you're wanting to sound like it's from that 80s sort of era, then, you know, by all means go with it. But what I did notice is because there was so much reverb, it was sort of smearing some things. The background vocals, as someone's already stated in the chat, also did have a little bit too much low end, kind of muffled sounding. With background vocals, you want to treat them predominantly just like your lead vocals. You want them to be bright, upfront, and punchy, but then usually what you do is you dip out about 3,000 kilohertz, and that just helps them to set just underneath the lead vocal just a little bit better and still give them the presence that they need. Other than that, man, the guitar solo was absolutely amazing. I loved the fact that there was a lot of varying elements that were coming and going. It wasn't boring. It wasn't something that was, you know, it wasn't too repetitive. So good job on that. Great job on the mix as a whole. I think once you take care of just a few of those little elements that we just talked about, this song is honestly, it's ready for release. Good job. All right, we're going to mark that one as 𝗧𝗵𝗲. And up next, we got Trees by Crackly Software. If I have actually a affinity to a song called Trees by Rush. Maybe this is an homage to that. I don't know. And by the way, it's good to see all of you in the chat today. It's good to see some first timers, some long timers, and some old timers. God love you. Thank you all so much for being here. And it looks like we might even have some young pups in the chat as well too. That's fine. So glad to have each and every one of you. So if you're new to the chat today, you've never been here before, this one's for you. Thank you so much for being here. If you are always on the chat and you're here every single time, this one is for you. Okay, anyway, we've had our rock out session there. But yeah, so let's go ahead and give. Thomas Nielsen says, first time on your live channel. Awesome. Good deal. 𝗧𝗵𝗲, I believe that's another first timer. Good deal. No homage here, says Crackly Software. So this is just the title, Trees. Good deal. Well, thank you so much for watching the MJ videos. Those are a lot of fun to make. We got some more coming, by the way. And we just released one today at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I think you're going to like it. It's working day and night. All right, let's give it a listen. I'll turn this up a bit. Beautiful. Awesome. Good to have you, 𝗧𝗵𝗲. Nice. Very mellow, chill. I love it. Turn this up a little bit more here. got a nice slow build to it, but it's not too slow. It's got good pacing. I'm definitely loving these background elements. Yeah, I think you're onto something, Jonathan. I'm definitely hearing that myself. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay. Yes. Vic, good to see you, buddy. Ooh, nice. Very, very cool. I gotta say, given the genre of music that you're going after, spot on, nailed it. Now, at first I was thinking the build was actually rather well paced. It did seem to sort of drag on there for just but a bit, but I think it was just enough to where it didn't feel like it was like it overstated _𝗏. So I love the fact that you also included sort of that riser area there towards the end. Great work. As far as constructive criticism, obviously bring the peaks up and get it a little bit louder so that it's not quite so hard to hear. If you're going to be using it for background elements, you still want it good and loud, and then you can always turn it down later. So if it was something maybe you were going to use as a background element, I could see why you may not have exported it at a little bit higher level. But that's always an option too, is to actually export it at a higher level and then just turn it down later wherever you're going to be using it. So great job though. Great job. There's really not much more I could offer other than, there was one element here towards the end where the synth kicked in that I was actually expecting to hear a little bit more low end, but it almost sounded as if you had a filter set to take out the low end. So that's why I I'm kind of tiptoeing around that subject because I don't know if you actually intended to do that or not. If you did, it was great. You did a great job. But just for me personally, it's a subjective response to it. But I would love to have heard a little bit more low end there at the end. Awesome. Up next, we have Michael Fitzgerald, Compassionate Man. And these levels look like they're more than fine. So I'm going to turn this down over here and let's give it a listen.
I'm not always a patient man. I'm not always kind. Even when I think I am, it's mostly in my own mind. So hear me calling you, Lord.
Beautiful.
Only you can change me. All things are possible with you, Lord. Will you make me a patient and compassionate man?
Gorgeous, man.
Sometimes I am an envious man. Sometimes I tend to boast. Sometimes I take for granted the people that I love the most. So hear me calling you, Lord. Only you can change me. All things are possible with you, Lord.
Gorgeous, man.
Will you make me a grateful and compassionate man? Sometimes I am a selfish man. Sometimes I get upset. Sometimes I tend to hold on to things that I should forget. So hear me calling you, Lord. Only you can change me. All things are possible with you, Lord. Will you make me a gracious and compassionate man?
Wow. Woo. Good night. That was an excellent rendition there. Great song. Love the lyrical content. Loved the message behind it. Loved everything about it. As Fenton Scanlon had just posted, as far as constructive criticism, he says that the reverbs don't quite match and some instruments sound like they're in a really large space and others not quite so much. For me, it's kind of a catch-22 because it almost helps to sell the effect with the layered vocals, the doubled vocals. They sound as if they're in a different space. With the instruments sounding like they're in a different space, it's almost like there's two bands playing together. So it kind of gave it a cool effect in my personal opinion. But yet again, that's the thing with these whenever we have these listen togethers, you're going to have a varying amount of opinions, and you can take what is useful and what's not. But a lot of it is subjective. So like based off of people's tastes, personally for my taste, I would have loved to have heard some more low end. And, I think the bass was lacking just a little bit, but also the balance of the mix was amazing too. So maybe the low end would have thrown that off. And the build there, the crescendo where all of the vocals came in at the same time, dude, that was absolutely amazing. You nailed it. Great work. Not really, not really too much we can say about that one other than that was awesome. Okay, next up is Maxwell's Stacy. More Days. Let's give this one a listen.
Life seems better when I got this girl to hold. Oh, I know.
What are you thinking about?
I know better than to say I'm all alone. Say she's better on her own. I still see you when you're gone. I got pictures in my phone. I want her back. I'm having a heart attack. I don't know how long it'll last. I need more days. Need to stay away. Been stringing her along. You know I regret it all. Stop working hard, I need to change. I always used to push away. I know she start to let me go.
What are you thinking about?
Life seems better when I got this girl to hold. Oh, I know. Now look what I started. Don't know what I wanted. I said that she's not the one for me. Now I'm sorry that I never knew how to act. I feel like just one more chance, I'll get this right. 'Cause I want her back. I'm having a heart attack. I don't know how long it'll last. I need more days. Need to stay away. Been stringing her along. You know I regret it all.
Well, what are you thinking about?
Very cool. Very cool. I have to agree with Crackly Software when he said he enjoys the use of auto-tune in such a manner. That was a great use of it, I think. And it wasn't too over the top. There were some areas where I was like, I don't know if this is going to work, and you actually made it work. So good job on that. The song itself was very chill. It was a little bit repetitive. I would have loved to have heard like some kind of a build or a drop at some point there. And there was definitely some places where you could have done that. So just maybe revisit. I've already released it, that's fine. It's still a great song as it is. But if you haven't released it, maybe revisit the mix and just go to an area and just sort of like let some things drop every once in a while. Very cool. And that'll just basically help to, create some engagement. It'll help to create some wonder whenever people are listening to it. As far as the balance of the mix, though, it sounded great. I probably wouldn't have done much different to it. Maybe have made the 808 hit just a little bit harder, but other than that, yeah, great work. Next up is our good friend P.A.L., and this is his song Beyond the Stars. Let's give it a listen.
Remember to look up at the stars.
Oh, that was cool. Very cool. Very cool. Wow. Very cool. Very cool. Absolutely stellar, man. Loved it. That was a pun not intended. Stellar stars. Yeah, dude. Lots of good stuff going on here. Love the vibe of it. Love the feel of it. It actually almost had sort of that Pink Floyd sound to it, especially when I heard the lyric where it says, "As I look beneath my wings." That was super cool. It reminded me of that old video, the Pink Floyd video where the hawk is flying and it's looking down, and you probably, if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. And I think it's at the point where it says, there is no pain we are receiving. And it's definitely reminiscent of that sort of era. It was great. The vocals were a little bit overly dynamic in the sense that I feel like they could have been tamed a little bit more and had a little less dynamics. And what I mean by that is where they would have just sounded a little bit more consistent. There were some times where they came in, they were a little bit louder than the time before. If you're looking for that kind of dynamic interlude, that's great. You did a great job of it. Me personally, I like a more controlled dynamic on the vocal so that it sounds pretty much not the same. Like I still love having dynamics, highs and lows and things like that. But I also like for it to, yes, Brian Barton, Learning to Fly. That's it. But it's one of those things that maybe it was Comfortably Numb. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's any of them. With that being said, I usually like to use some limiting on my vocal to get it to where it still has the dynamics, but it doesn't completely, overpower it, but it still also has that constancy. And one of the best ways you can do that here within Cakewalk, if you're a Cakewalk user, is hop on over here to your Pro module and use the CA2A and set it to limit, and then just let it just barely kind of tap this area here. And that will help out tremendously. Really the only thing I got to say about it though, I mean, I loved the vibe of the song. It was excellent, excellent work. Up next, we got Fenton Scanlon with the song War Dog. Let's give this bad boy a listen. Very cool intro there. It sounded a lot like my Indel app. Very spacious, very cool.
Wade out, neck deep, into the river of greed. What fool once said, take only that which you need. Landslide descent to crush the cruel and unkind.
Sorry, that was my fault.
It's the new trend. Down tools and blow your own mind. Cry foul, war dog. Your clockwork heart has worn down. Piece of brain fog. They tore up your paper crown. Old soul,
Great work, man.
black tongue. Truth hurts you more than the lies. Back door, hard sell. It sticks like honey to flies. Landslide descent
Beautiful.
to crush the cruel and unkind. It's the
Wow. Very cool. Man, you guys are knocking it out of the park. When I think about the submissions that we had when we first started doing these versus what we're listening to now, every single one of you who have submitted stuff has gotten exponentially better, which makes me happy. That's what this is all about. And that's not just because you're here. That's because of the community that is built around all of this as well. People helping one another to get better and better at what we're doing. That's awesome. You guys rock. Old Bell says, super cool. Kev Grisham, brilliant. Just wish there was an additional vocal on the choruses. Nice. Great outro. Up next is Mark George's. I'm sorry. I probably should say a little bit more about this. However, there's just, it's one of those where, okay, so the snaps or claps, I think it was more snaps. I did feel like that the reverb didn't quite settle well with the mix as a whole. It seemed like it was just a little bit overpowering. Honestly, that's about all that I have though to say about it. The rest of it, the mood, the way that the instrumentation came in, the drops, wow. Just so much amazingness going on there. Great job, Fenton. Keep up the good work, guys. You guys are rocking. It's kind of crazy that now we're doing these. We're more just listening to them. There's not really a lot of criticism being given anymore. And by criticism, I keep using that word. I'm sorry. By criticism, I mean like the constructive kind. We're not tearing people down around here. But normally, you know, there's at least 5 or 6 things that I'm like, oh, if you do this, you do this, you do this, it's going to take it to the next level. It's getting to the point where we're just pretty much listening to songs now. So that's cool. Ninsingo is by Mark George. That's the one that's up next. Let's go ahead and give this bad boy a listen. Very cool. I'm going to turn this up a little bit. Mario. This is definitely a cool little departure from your normal cinematic style work. I like it. This is so cool. the cool little thing you got drifting from the left to right stereo field. That's cool. Brian Barton says power ups. If I'm not mistaken, that was the end of Sega. Sega. Insert quarter to play. That's awesome. Very cool. Nikki, I want to let you know I'm not ignoring you. I did see that in the chat here. That's just something we probably need to discuss outside of the stream today. If you emailed me, I don't recall getting it. I'll have to go back in here and check later and see. If you use the contact form, sometimes I don't get an email notification that tells me that you use the contact form. Okay, yeah, it does. You did just pop up in my email, so yeah, I did get it. I'll give that a listen or a look, and then we'll discuss that more in depth. But okay, so great work for the departure from the normal. Was really cool, Mark. I loved all of the sound effects. In fact, a lot of them sounded very familiar, very nostalgic. As far as, you saying, I wish I'd have mastered it now. That's fine. We got the volume level up to where it needed to be. Definitely some cool stuff going on there. There's not really much input I could give on this one either, because it's sort of one of those, it's so niche down that it's like there's no industry standard to really go off of. So it's kind of cool. You can kind of make your own rules as you go with that one. Great job, though. Everyone loved it. Tim, sorry that your lunch break is over, buddy. It was nice hanging out with you. You can always come back and watch this later. For those of you who are still here on the live stream, thank you all so much for hanging out with us today. And make sure that you like the video if you haven't already. That would be greatly appreciated of you. All right. Next up, we got Descock's Land of Second Chances by Connor Cronin. Let's give this bad boy a listen. Beautiful.
Write me a new song, she said, with lines that have never been heard. So many lines in my head, a jumble of phrases and words. So what to put into my perfect song to let you know how you make me feel, that it was you who took me by the hand and led me to the land of second chances.
Very cool.
I'll try and avoid tight cliches, 'cause you know I'm a musical snob. All the best songs have been written, I say. There's Lennon, McCartney, Tom Leonard and Bob. You say to me, be imperfectly perfect. Let your heart sing, let it flow like mine did when you took me by the hand and led me to the land of second chances.
Very cool.
The land where the lost things are found and where my soul is set free. It was dark at the start, now there's love in my heart, enough for both you and me. sorrow dance and dream our own dream and sing our own song. Hold my hand, we'll make home in this land, this glorious land, the land of second chances. Write me a song with a 6 and a 7. If Leonard can, you can do too. Choose a cool title like Stairway to Heaven. Put in riffs and a bridge like Bruce would do. Play that piano like Nina or Billy, with champagne chords and gin-soaked glissandos. A song fit to take me by the hand and dance with me in the land of second chances. Write me a new song, she said, with lines that have never been heard. So let's keep it simple. You're my best everything. Not quite a line, just 3 words. So here's one more unheard line to let you know just how I feel. I love you for taking me by the hand and walking with me in the land of second chances. I love you for taking me by the hand and walking with me in the land of second chances. I love you for taking me by the hand and walking with me in the land of second chances.
Wow. Great job, Connor Cronin. Man, yet again, we've got another departure here from the norm, because Connor, predominantly, most of the stuff that he has presented before has been like punk rock. And this was like way out of left field for him. And for him to nail a song like this the way that he did, it shows his musical prowess. He's got a lot going on, other than just cool guitar riffs and great guitar playing, which he does have. Dude, great work. Great work. One thing I noticed is, although the dynamics were definitely there were elements in the mix where, especially when everything came together, that some elements of it got lost to others. And I think that was just an EQ situation that could have been mitigated by EQ. And then the other thing was the vocals seemed to ride on top of everything nicely until everything came in. And one clever thing that you can do to minimize that happening is to actually put a side chain on the entire mix, or just mainly like the main elements. In this case, piano and guitar would have been great to do that with. And then get to the point where when those came in, when your vocals reached a certain threshold, it would actually turn them down just a little bit. So, but the vocals did sound absolutely stellar. I keep using that word today, but it's fine. Great work, man. It's yet again, you guys are not making my job easy to try to pick a winner here. I guess that's the beauty of it. 𝗧𝗵𝗲, Prisoners or Slaves. Ooh, this sounds cool. Let's check this bad boy out. Wow.
Prisoners or slaves, marble statues they.
Great vocal harmonies there.
Never to be free, sculptor's hands cast from head to toe. Unremembered, all tethered, hanging on a wall. Visitors far off, friends and family gone. Pictures fade like leaves, they fall, decaying, never to see the dawn. People, places, whoever they are, wherever they may be, let love form everywhere, get everyone set free, hearts and minds and bones and eyes, every part taking, let life go, break out in full, outside and within.
Very cool.
Prisoners or slaves, frozen figures they, for all time to see, destiny for the world its way. People, places, whoever they are, wherever they may be, let love form everywhere, get everyone set free, hearts and minds and bones and eyes, every part taking, let life go, break out in full, outside and within.
Very cool. Very cool. Loved it, man. It was great work. As usual, the vocal harmonies were just absolutely amazing. I did feel like it was leaning a little bit to the right stereo field. There's elements of it where, especially the acoustic guitar, seemed like it was almost kind of like tilted just a bit to the right side. If you were going for that effect, you know, that's a different story, but that's just what I heard in my ears. Other than that, though, great job. I didn't hear a lot of bass in there, and maybe there's a reason for that, but I would have loved to have heard a little bit of like a sort of medieval type bass line going with that. It was kind of cool. As usual, though, great work. Every time you submit a song, I'm always looking forward to it. So, 𝗏𝗏 by Hans Krohn. Let's go ahead and give this bad boy a listen. And then what we might do is just take a little bit of a breather. That'll give me time to top off a coffee cup and maybe grab something real quick to eat. And while we're doing that, I'll find something for you all to check out. So Hans Krohn up next. Let's give it a listen. Very cool.
een dromer. Ja, een dromer. Als we nu al niet meer praten, hoe moet het dan? Naar de zomer, naar de zomer.
Langzaamaan groeiden wij uit elkaar. Dacht je echt dat dit gebeurt? Me zomaar koud liet.
Very cool. Hey, Fenton, sorry to have to see you go, buddy.
Misschien had jij gelijk. Doe jezelf,
Je bent een dromer. Ja, een dromer.
als we nu al niet meer praten, hoe moet het dan?
Naar de zomer. Naar de zomer. Die avond op het strand liep misschien wat uit de hand. Op de magische sterrenzee. Maar het is nog niet gedaan. Misschien nog een keer, kan je niet laten gaan. Hoop op meer. Misschien had jij gelijk toen jij zei, je bent een dromer. Ja, een dromer. Als we nu al niet meer praten, hoe moet het dan? Naar de zomer. Naar de zomer. Na 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 na. Naar de zomer.
Cool elements building up there.
Naar de zomer. Naar de zomer.
Wow, very, very cool. I loved all of the elements that were coming and going, and everything sounded great. The only thing that I noticed was it seemed as if the mix itself was lacking some punch. And I think that's because it was exported in mono. And I could be wrong here, but I think that's where a lot of the bass or the low end might have actually went. But given the fact that it was exported in mono and the vocals and a lot of the elements didn't sound phased or like they had some kind of phase problems, that's actually kind of cool that you got a good mix like that. So it says a lot about your elements that you put together there. I don't know what you were saying. A lot of it I could tell was in a different language, but it sounded cool. Great work, man. You guys are rocking. Just keep up the good work. The next one that we're going to listen to is Hymn for the Lost Souls. And this is by Midnight Blue Movies. But we are going to go ahead and take a short intermission. This will give me time to sort of just use the bathroom real quick, top off my coffee cup, and maybe grab like a slice of toast or something, because I'm getting a little shaky right now for some reason. So that could be the fact that I've drank way too much coffee and not ate anything today. And I'm dieting, so you'll have that. Which, by the way, not that you guys wanted to know this, but before the diet, I weighed in at 222 pounds. Yes, I know. I like Chick-fil-A, like to eat. And as of right now, let me check it here. I'm weighing in at 215, so that's a loss of 7 pounds already. So I'll give myself a little pat on the back for that, no problem. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to a brief intermission here. And I'm going to go grab some stuff real quick and then use the restroom, and I will be right back, so stick around. With every project, there comes a certain amount of wonder, like a child running in search of something new and exciting. Or sometimes it's the familiar and well-worn, or even something mysterious and intangible, but in our minds we know that it's out there. And as a guitarist, I sometimes get that same feeling when I'm trying to find that perfect tone. Some days it seems like I'm on the right path, and that just around the bend or over the next hill is going to be that sound that I'm looking for, the one that I hear in my head. But most of the time I just get frustrated, and it seems as if I'm tripping over the forest trying to find the trees. Now, some people would call this an obsession, and some say it doesn't even matter, that no one's going to hear the difference. But tone isn't for the listener only. It's actually an extension of the player as well. And the search for tone, it goes deeper than just a good sound. It's like finding a unique musical footprint that carves an indelible mark on that favorite tree in the woods, essentially leaving a legacy, a lasting mark on your work for everyone who hears. Whether they know why they love that sound or not, it's still as if even though they don't know why, they appreciate the extra effort that went into finding that tone. In fact, most people will never even acknowledge it. They'll just say something like, "Wow, that's a good song," and move on. So for every guitarist out there, every tone chaser that's chasing that tone, trying to get the best sound they possibly can, keep up the good work. I hear what you're doing, I love what you're doing, and I'm behind you 100%. With every project, there comes a certain amount of wonder, like a child running through the woods in search of something new and exciting. Or sometimes it's the familiar and well-worn, or even something mysterious and intangible, but in our minds we know that it's out there. And as a guitarist, I sometimes get that same feeling when I'm trying to find that perfect tone. Some days it seems like I'm on the right path, and that just around the bend or over the next hill is going to be that sound that I'm looking for, the one that I hear in my head. But most of the time I just get frustrated, and it seems as if I'm tripping over the forest trying to find the trees. Now, some people would call this an obsession, and some say it doesn't even matter, that no one's going to hear the difference. But tone isn't for the listener only. It's actually an extension of the player as well. And the search for tone, it goes deeper than just a good sound. It's like finding a unique musical footprint that carves an indelible mark on that favorite tree in the woods, essentially leaving a legacy, a lasting mark on your work for everyone who hears. Whether they know why they love that sound or not, it's still as if even though they don't know why, they appreciate the extra effort that went into finding that tone. In fact, most people will never even acknowledge it. They'll just say something like, "Wow, that's a good song," and move on. So for every guitarist out there, every tone chaser that's chasing that tone, trying to get the best sound they possibly can, keep up the good work. I hear what you're doing, I love what you're doing, and I'm behind you 100%. With every project, there comes a certain amount of wonder, like a child running through the woods in search of something new and exciting. Or sometimes it's the familiar and well-worn, or even something mysterious and intangible, but in our minds we know that it's out there. And as a guitarist, I sometimes get that same feeling when I'm trying to find that perfect tone. Some days it seems like I'm on the right path, and that just around the bend or over the next hill is going to be that sound that I'm looking for, the one that I hear in my head. But most of the time I just get frustrated, and it seems as if I'm tripping over the forest trying to find the trees. Now, some people would call this an obsession, and some say it doesn't even matter, that no one's going to hear the difference. But tone isn't for the listener only. It's actually actually an extension of the player as well. And the search for tone, it goes deeper than just a good sound. It's like finding a unique musical footprint that carves an indelible mark on that favorite tree in the woods, essentially leaving a legacy, a lasting mark on your work for everyone who hears. Whether they know why they love that sound or not, it's still as if, even though they don't know why, they appreciate the extra effort that went into finding that tone. In fact, most people will never even acknowledge it. They'll just say something like, wow, that's a good song, and move on. So for every guitarist out there, every tone chaser that's chasing that tone, trying to get the best sound they possibly can, keep up the good work. I hear what you're doing, I love what you're doing, and I'm behind you 100%. Okay. We are back. And I've got a fresh cup of coffee. I have some dry toast. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and continue on where we left off, starting with the Hymns for the Lost Souls with Midnight Blue Movies. Let's give this bad boy a listen. Oops. Good job, man. Good job. That sounded really cool. I could definitely see that as a movie trailer, some kind of a commercial trailer. great job on that. I do feel like that the high end frequencies was just a little bit over the top. And I think they could have been tamed down just a little bit more by use of some reverb. But that might have also caused a lot more issues. By and large, though, if this was playing in the background during some kind of a movie trailer, like a song of some kind, or a pizza or something. Yes, I did just say pizza because my wife texts pizza. If this was playing in the background during some sort of a movie trailer or a commercial about pizza, which I'm sure is really good for my diet. She's really helping out a lot. Yeah, it definitely would sell the point very well. I do feel like when the low end came in too, there was just the right amount of low end. It wasn't like overpowering. So pizza for all, says the old bell. Awesome. DJ Big Red 81, thank you so much for the time stamping. He does a great job making sure that everybody can come back and check these out later. And hear me say pizza instead of commercial. Oh man. You got to admit it sounds good. Maybe we should just have a pizza party on here. I mean, that's what we'll do for our 100,000, our 100K live stream. Big pizza party. Okay. Fracture, A Spacious Place by Jonathan Hamlet is up next. Let's give it a listen.
It was the hardest pill to swallow, knowing that you're gone. It obscured all my clarity of knowing right from wrong. I slipped into darkness, alone with my every thought.
Great
And all
vocals,
the
man.
pain and agony to the surface it brought. Fracture, fracture.
I'll turn this up a little.
Say you're right, and who's to say I'm wrong? And if we don't act quick, I won't be here long. Fracture, fracture, every piece of this broken soul. Fracture, fracture, never again will I be whole. Fracture, fracture, fracture.
Very cool. Very cool. There towards the end, I was actually using I had the T-Rex on to get the levels up, but I was actually adding in some of the bass punch, and it allowed me to hear the kick and the bass a little bit better. With that bass punch off, you're hearing just the bass that's already, pre-existing on the track. And I would say that there wasn't enough bass for me. And the guitar work, as good as it was, I felt like it could have used some space, like a little bit of reverb, some delay to give it some space. As a guitar player, I wanted to hear the guitars louder, like Old Bell says. And I also wanted to hear them more panned out a little bit more. It definitely has a lot of potential, especially with that lead singer, that voice. That's awesome. The intro going into where it ended up was amazing too. That was a great job. So yeah, there's a lot of potential on that song. I feel like it would definitely be a great song with just a few minor tweaks. So with that being said, we're going to go on to 𝗿𝗏𝗧 𝗏𝗧 by 𝗧𝗵𝗏. Let's check this out. Turn this one down a little bit. Nice. Great mix on this one, man. Added a little bit of bass in with T-Rex, but other than that, nice little breakdown there. What I'm doing. Wow. Very moving. Yet again, like a lot of individuals here in the chat have already said, nice use of percussion elements. That was great. The mix in and of itself sounded really good. I do feel like that there was a lot of things stepping on each other. Yet again, reverb, EQ helps to separate instances within a production. But also with this kind of music, it's one of those things where it kind of sounds like full bore from time to time. And I was just waiting for the sound, whatever that is. Yeah, it's got a name I can't remember. And I just did a horrible job representing it. But yeah, very cool. Liked it. I liked it a lot. It was good. So the next song up is RK Project for the song Ever Been Ghosted in credit mix. And I think it's in the key of D. Let's check it out. Wow. Very cool. Very cool. Nice movement. Good pacing. Yes, Old Bell. Nice drum sounds. Great low end balance. Sounds great. Micah approved dynamics. Yeah, I'm definitely getting the haunted house feeling too. Kind of cool though. Very cool. Very cool. So many awesome things happening in that mix. The low end was just right, I feel like, on that one. I didn't need to add any low end to that one to make it sort of pop a little more than others. And to be honest, the movement of the song, just, it kept you engaged, kept you moving. So great job on that. Yeah, that's about all I can offer up for that one, because yet again, like most of the other ones we've been listening to, it's like, what do you say about that? I mean, what kind of tips can you give on something that already sounds really good? So next up is Flying Gen 3 by Crackly Software. This was obviously either one or the other month. So if there are individuals that have 2 submissions this month, and normally that's not allowed, but because we're doing 2 months together, that's how we're going to do that. So let's give this bad boy a listen. Looks like I'm going to have to use the one to turn this up a little bit. That's fine. Very cool. Hey, what's up, Chernobyl Studios? Good to see you, buddy. We need to catch up again sometime soon. Very cool, like laid back track here. I'm loving it. Awesome. Good work, man. So I have to say, the someone returning home theme, that's, yeah, spot on with that one. It definitely felt that way. In this mix, I almost wanted to hear like some more, like I feel like some sound effects would have actually set this thing over the top and given it something a little extra. Not that it necessarily needs it, but I just think for me personally, subjectively, I think it would be cool to have some sound effects added in there. Take your pick as to what sound effects would sound cool in there. But that's just my personal opinion. Really liked the feel and the groove of the track. I do feel like that a lot of people were saying that the bass was too much, but I feel like it was actually, I think it was right. I mean, that's just me though. And it might be my listening situation over here. So, but with that being said, great song. Not a lot I would have changed in it other than just those few elements I just spoke of, because really it kind of spoke for itself. It was good job. Okay, I do want to address Chernobyl Studios has just entered the chat. Thank you so much for hopping on. Scott is an awesome guy. If you haven't checked out his channel, go over and do so, especially if you're into mixing metal or dealing with any kind of metal tracks. He's got some great stuff over there. If you haven't checked out our interview that me and him did not too long ago, check that out. It was really more of a sort of talking shop kind of thing where we did a Cakewalk versus Pro Tools kind of talk. It was kind of fun. There was a lot of things that he brought to light that I think he did it in a good way to showcase some of the flaws and some of the setbacks of Cakewalk, as well as some of the major prowess that it has over the industry standard Pro Tools. So, I mean, like just here recently, just kind of throwing this out there, squirrels, shiny objects, just throwing this out there. So here recently they made this big to-do about Pro Tools was finally going to be able to do ARA integration with Melodyne. Well, guess what? Cakewalk's been doing that from day one. That's why as soon as Melodyne came out, they were on it. They already had included, back in the day anyway, had included a essential version, and it was already integrated. So yeah, Cakewalk is growing daily, getting better every single day. Still has some MIDI issues for guys like me that don't use MIDI a lot. I'm perfectly okay with that. But yeah, it's good to see you, man. We definitely need to hop back on, have another chat, just hang out again, catch up. All right. So last but not least, we have Drew Hoskin, Disguises in Mind. This could be cool. Let's check this out. By the way, DJ, the chat moderator, has posted the link to Chernobyl Studios YouTube channel. Want to go and check him out. He's doing a lot of cool stuff over there. All right. Last up. Here we go. Turn this one down a little. There we go.
There you go again, making me out to be the man I don't wanna be. The man in your head that you see. All your disguises in mind, keep them by your side, warm and dry, until you let them out to shine. Everyone talks, everyone sees the way you are. Where'd you come out to be? Lead people to believe. No stress now, no escaping now. No stress.
Very cool.
You play the part. You play the part oh so well. From the very start, from the start I felt this well. All your disguises in mind, keep them by your side, warm and dry, until you let them out to shine, out to shine, out to shine, out to
That lead vocalist has a little bit of a Kurt Cobain sound. Kind of cool.
There you go again, making me out to be the man I don't wanna be. The man in your head that you see. With all your disguises in mind, you keep them by your side, warm and dry, until you let them out to shine. By your side, until you let them out to shine. By your side, until you let them out to shine. Out to shine. Out to shine. Out to
Awesome. Last song submission for December and January. Closed out on a good note. Man, that was very cool sounding. To be honest, with that genre of music, sort of that alternative style, you did a really good job nailing it. And I have to say, as I already did, the lead singer sounded a lot like Kurt Cobain. And it brought back a lot of nostalgic memories there. I was a huge Nirvana fan growing up. Love Nirvana, still do. To this day, I love his guitar work. He was really sort of paving the way for a lot of things that other people weren't doing back then. And it wasn't just about grunge rock. It was about so much more than that. His lyrics and some of the other things that he had done. So great job on that one. If there was anything that I would have changed, is maybe just some timing issues. But really with this kind of music, you almost want that in there to give it that element of realism. So yeah, not much I can say on that one. Great song. Well done, as Kev Gresham has said. But thank you all so much for showing up for today's live stream. Now, I do want to make an announcement about the winner that will be chosen this time around. Although we are doing 2 months, typically there would be 2 winners that would be chosen. But in order for me to catch up and to catch up properly, I still am falling behind. I've got brand deals I got to catch up on. I've got reviews that I still got to catch up on, which we got some cool stuff. I'm getting ready to review the 𝗬𝗲 Metaverse pedal, which is super cool. I have a wireless MIDI jack that you guys have got to check out by a company called 𝗬𝗏. I'm going to be doing a review on that here pretty soon. And I've also got some plugins that I still need to review for your alls. As if you guys needed any more plugins. As if I needed any more plugins. But it's really cool that companies reach out and donate this stuff. And what I'm going to try to do going forward this year, and whenever a company reaches out and they say, hey, we want you to review a plugin, typically speaking, what I do is, I look at the plugin first, see if it's even going to be a fit. Is this going to be something that, is it just another iteration of an EQ plugin like everyone has? Or is it something that's actually useful that is different in some way, shape, or form? Or does it just provide a result quicker? Is it cheaper? There's so many factors that go into it. But what I'm going to try to do this year is with every single plugin review that we do, I'm going to also try to include a giveaway of that plugin so that way it will sort of incentivize you to not only watch the videos, because it's going to be only those that watch the videos will know how to win those plugins. And then likewise, I'm going to be trying to build up my podcast listeners. I've got a podcast now, I've had it for years and just hasn't grown to the point that I feel like it should. And there's actually some untapped potential there as far as earnings that I could be earning from that I'm not. And at this point in time, anything that I can do to try to offset the cost of labor and internet usage, website hosting, all of that would be great. So, and I know that you guys this isn't the best of times to harp you guys all the time about buying stuff from me. And that's why I never really do, maybe to my own demise, but I don't want to be that guy. With that being said though, liking the videos, sharing the videos, subscribing to the channel, making sure that all notifications are checked whenever you hop on the channel, that all is greatly appreciated. And it's so awesome that you guys would do that. And just, if you know of another person that hasn't stumbled across this, help them find it. And if you're doing some yard work, you're on a commute, the podcast is a great way for you to go and to listen and to support the channel as well, because you don't really have to do anything other than just listen or subscribe to it in order to get me to the point where I could actually start being able to have ad placements. As much as I hate ads, at the same time, they do help pay the bills. With that being said, thank you all so much for showing up today. And a huge shout out to all of you who have supported over the last few years. It's been a roller coaster with COVID and everything that's taken place. And it's been crazy. And last year was a good year, but I want to make this year even better. I want to get to the point where I can, if I can start getting to the point where I can offset some of the costs that are incurring, I can actually start getting more done on the channel that's going to help you guys even more. So thank you guys for showing up, but we cannot end today's live stream without doing at least one thing that's a staple around here. And I think you all know what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, we could not end this live stream without the Wheel of Awesomeness. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You're here to watch the wheel. And the wheel has no background. That's weird. I must have lost the background on that. I'll pull up a different background video. Let's see here. As I'm pulling up the background video, I'll go track down 𝗧𝗵𝗲, because I don't know if he knew that we were actually doing this, because where is he at? Let me get with my team real quick to ask him has anybody seen 𝗧𝗵𝗲? He's doing what? Okay. So apparently 𝗧𝗵𝗲 is in the building. There's our background. But he's just not. Oh, wait a minute. Here he comes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Home Studio Simplified show. This is the first show of the season. If you'd like, what? Never mind. This is not the first show of the season. I'm underpaid and underemployed. And Robert is trying, he's back. Hold on. Anyway, let's go ahead and spin the wheel of awesomeness. Yeah. All right, Casey keeps getting weirder. I keep getting weirder. Little known fact. All right. This is a segment of the wheel where we talk about a little known fact about yours truly. And usually it turns into something very personal, turns into something that nobody even really wants to hear about. But nonetheless, here we go anyway. So, little known fact. Today's little known fact is going to be about, he says, I call trivia. Let's see, what can I bring up today? Oh, how about we talk about this little known fact? So, no, I've already talked about that. There's not really much interesting about me. Well, I've already talked about a lot of it. So, oh, here's a little known fact. Did you know that when I was in the 7th grade, I had, and I wish I had pictures of it, I could show you guys, but I don't. But I actually I was going through a phase. Okay, guys, give me credit here. It's going through a phase. But I had my septum, my 𝗲𝗏, my tongue, and both of my ears pierced. And I had my head shaved, except for 2 little tufts of hair right here that were spiked up into horns in the 7th grade. With that being said, I got the attention that I was looking for, just not the right kind of attention. I was mainly sitting in the office most of the time. Teachers were afraid of me. I guess that's maybe what I wanted. But we all go through phases in life. What kind of phase did you go through? Did you go through any kind of phases? Leave that in the comment section. Let me know. I went through a gothic phase, which obviously that was that phase. I'll have to admit to being Superman one of these days. I actually do have the glasses now for the Clark Kent look. But I actually went through the goth phase. I went through a skater phase. I was doing a lot of skateboarding then with the Jinko jeans and the huge, went through a hippie phase, lots of hemp jewelry and Grateful Dead t-shirts. I went through a grunge phase where I just decided I wasn't going to ever, I was never going to bathe. And I think it was in the grunge phase whenever we started the band, and I was in the middle of grunge / hippie. So it was kind of a weird transition there. But I also went through sort of a hip hop thuggy type phase, I guess you could call it. But in doing so, out of all of those phases, different music was introduced, and that's kind of what got me into that phase. So that's why I think I have such a wide variety of a background of music that I love, and why I have an aspiration for all kinds of music. So you're going to see here on the channel in this coming year, I know we do a lot of Michael Jackson breakdowns, but we're going to do a lot more of other artists as well. And for instance, I recently tried anyway to get my hands on the tracks for Peter Gabriel's Shock the Monkey. Unfortunately, when I flew them into Cakewalk, they were completely trash. Not the sounds, but they were so jumbled up, I couldn't make heads or tails of where anything went. So I have to scratch that one, which stinks because I've already shot a lot of the video for it, but oh well. But we do have a Jackson 5 coming up that will be released to the VIP members first. And then a few days hence, there will be show proof pictures. I wish I had pictures of that, but I honestly don't. I think somewhere I've got an old card, like a school card. But if you need proof, I can do this. Kind of hard to show proof of that, but as you can see, I have a hole still in my lip from the 𝗲𝗏, still have a scar from the septum, and both of my ears still have holes in them. I would not recommend that, people. I don't condone it. I don't recommend it. especially in the 7th grade. But yeah, we all have scars that we live with, things from our past. And I also would be remiss to not bring up the fact that, you know, from those past experiences, we can learn a ton. So thank you guys so much for hopping on the show today. Thank you all so much for submitting the songs. I think I already have a winner in mind, believe it or not. And so I will go ahead and announce it here on the live stream, but I'll make sure to post it as well, just in case that individual can't get to it. And what normally happens, for those of you who maybe you don't know about this, if I pick a winner, what I do is I email the winner and I say, hey, you're the winner. I'd like to mix this live. If they don't want me to mix it live, then I don't. So there's sometimes, like there's been some months where I've picked a winner and you're like, well, what happened to the live stream? Well, get a little closer. Why don't you? A new high or low for the stream. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and choose the winner. And then I'll have to email them afterwards. So if they don't get back with me or whatever. But I'm almost positive they're still here in the chat. So I seen them here in the chat. So the winner of today's song submission is going to be the suspense. Fracture by Jonathan Hamlet. Good job on that one. That's the song that I feel like is going to provide the most learning experience here for the chat, as well as help me to add something else to my portfolio that's not currently there. So if you are okay with me mixing that live, let me know, Jonathan Hamlet, by sending me the multi-tracks, the dry, unaffected multi-tracks to that song, and we will mix that live here on the show for everyone to bask in. I'll also be sending you an email to let you know that you did win. And if you don't want it mixed live, that's completely fine too. I don't make anyone do anything that they don't want to. So, Stephen Whitney, good to see you. By the way, it's a first timer. I haven't seen them here. Let's give him a big round of applause. Stephen Wolf. I must say Stephen. Thank you so much for hopping on. He says it's okay to ask you gear questions. I will go ahead and take maybe just a couple of questions real quick. So if you have a question real quickly, you can ask it, but it is going to have to be quickly because I have to hop off here like very soon. Awesome. Steven, he says, okay, good deal. Steven, go ahead and ask a quick gear question and let me know what's on your mind. Yes, congratulations, Jonathan. Good job on the song, man. And good job on that lead singer that you got to help do that, your buddy. I think you said his name was Billy or Brian. Started with a B. So Stephen is asking, was the Donner Arena pedal, is it worth the money? It really just depends on what you're using it for. There were some hangups that I had with it. For instance, the drive sounds didn't sound exactly up to snuff for me anyway. But it did have a lot of versatility. It also had an excellent way to record straight into your computer. So if you don't have an amplifier, you can get some really good sounds out of that without needing an amplifier. So really, it just depends on what you're looking to do with that. I would suggest, though, that if you do intend on buying it, go and check out my review of it first here on the channel, and maybe that'll give you a better representation of whether or not you really need it. Because sometimes we want things, but then we realize we didn't really need it after we buy it. And then the other instance of that is, if you would please be so kind as to use the link that I've provided in the description of that video to purchase that. I think you can actually get a small percentage off for doing that, and it also gives me a small percentage back for leading you to the product. So, but yeah, great question. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and wrap up today's stream. Thank you all so much for hopping on. I love each and every one of you. You guys rock. Chernobyl, if you're still on here, buddy, we need to get together. Steven says he's a worship leader and trying to figure out something on a budget to go direct in. If you're looking for something on a budget to go direct in, I actually use the Boss ME80. I would definitely recommend that. In fact, I will take a little bit of extra time here to find that for you. 1 second. And I'm pretty sure. Now you're going to pay about $50 more, but you're going to get exponentially better sounds as well as just a better experience. And I use this for worship every Sunday that I'm able to be there. So getting ready to post that in the chat right now. That's not the right password. All right, let's see here. Oops, hold on a second. Let me get the right thing in here. Trying to get my fingers to work properly right now is not a good thing. Okay. There, that link should work. And that is an affiliate link as well. So if you go and you purchase the pedal, it's also going to give me a small commission for leading you to that product as well through Sweetwater. I'm hoping that you're in the States. If you are, if you've never dealt with Sweetwater, they're the best company on the planet to get things from. Not only do you get it fast, but you get the customer service that's absolutely amazing. So for the same price of what you would pay for the Donner pedal, you're going to get this pedal that, in my honest opinion, is loads better. I'll definitely go and check that out. And like I said, I use that every single Sunday that I'm there for worship. So if you'd like to hear some of my sounds before, like, you rush out and buy it and you're like, well, what does it sound like every single Sunday? Let me head on over here. I say every single Sunday. Every Sunday that I'm there, because there's a lot of Sundays I have to miss due to work. And of course, we've had sickness here in the house. My son just got COVID. There's been a lot of cool stuff happening, believe me. Let me find a good service here where I Let's see, the 15th.
We do not war after the flesh, for the weapons of
It was not that one.
sharing approaching doom, but the hope that the church has in Jesus Christ. And Brother Mullen, we want to thank you for
Okay, so I just posted a link in the chat to one of the most recent live streams that we've done where you can actually hear this guitar pedal being used in a worship setting. So that should help. Awesome. Okay. Until next time, we shall see you all, catch you all on the flip side. Remember that we can dream alone, we can even create alone, but together we can achieve so much more. God bless you all. Love you.